Besties! Hi besties! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Leendo and yeah, welcome to my channel. And so today guys, I'm gonna be doing something very easy. I'm gonna be baking butter biscuits. Other people call them melting moments, other people call them 3-ingredient biscuits. So it's just gonna be biscuits with baking. So all that you need, it's just 3 ingredients. Firstly, it's 2 cups of flour, and then secondly you need, firstly it's 2 cups of flour. Secondly, you need about 250 grams of butter. You can either use butter, you can even use margarine. It's fine, for as long as it's margarine that is good for baking, like your stock bake, your rama for baking, those kind of things. So I'm using butter. And then lastly, it's 1 cup of icing sugar. So this is like powdered sugar. It's very fine on the hands. So we basically use this type of sugar because it's very smooth. It makes the biscuits like super smooth. They sort of like melt in your mouth. For instance, maybe I'll just make an example, like what are these biscuits called? Itzamos. Yeah, the texture, you know, it makes the texture sort of like itzamos, like they are smooth in your mouth. So that's why we use icing sugar. But if you don't have icing sugar and you really want to bake these biscuits, then you can also use normal sugar, like the normal granulated sugar. So the reason why we use this one, as I've stated, is because it's smooth, very smooth. It makes the biscuits like smooth and melt in your mouth. So if you're going to be using granulated sugar, they'll be a bit roughish, you know, they won't be as smooth as you'd maybe like them to be, but it's still fine. They're still going to be biscuits at the end. So yeah, these are just the 3 ingredients that you need. Also, if you want to add vanilla, then you are most welcome to add vanilla as well, but I'm not gonna add vanilla. It's just gonna be these 3 ingredients. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna be adding the icing sugar into our flour. So I'm adding it in like that, and then let me get something to mix. Okay, so I've got my whisk over here. So I'm just mixing the icing sugar with the flour. Also guys, make sure that you have sifted your flour and as well as the icing sugar. Just make sure that you sift them so that they become really fine, because that's what we want. We need our cookies to be very smooth, so just make sure that you sift them first before you use them. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the butter. So the butter needs to be, can you see how it looks like? It's a bit, what can I say? It has thawed, so it hasn't like melted, you know, completely, so that it's like a liquid. You need to get it into this kind of a state. So yeah, you can just leave it outside the fridge for a while. So I'm not gonna put all of it in. I'm just gonna put it in sections like this. And then you're gonna need to go in with your hands. like you can also even feel it on your hands that it's very smooth. Like it really does feel smooth on your hands as well. So, and that's exactly how you want it. Unlike when you have the granulated sugar, you'll feel it's a bit rough on your hands. So yeah, but if you're using this type of sugar, then it's very smooth on your hands as well. Okay, besties, so this is how the dough looks like. Can you see? You can even actually hold it, like it's not even sticking onto the dish. So this is like perfect dough. So now we're gonna proceed and start rolling it on the surface. But then before we start rolling it, I'm just gonna flour the surface with flour and then just knead it a bit, maybe for about 2 minutes, and then after that I'm gonna start cutting it into whatever shapes that I want. So yeah, this is essentially how you want your dough to be. It's very it's like perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that now. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just flouring the surface a bit. And then I'm taking my flour just to work on it just a bit. So guys, when you are kneading the dough like this, basically it's also going to help you, like if your dough is a bit too soft, so the flour that is on the surface is actually going to help the dough to become intact, so that when you start rolling and actually cutting your cookies, they don't break. So this flour really helps with that. In case like your dough is a bit too moist or too wet, so this really helps because of this flour over here. Because I can also feel my dough right now, like it feels really good on the hands. I can really feel that when I start rolling, it's not going to give me a lot of problems, because sometimes you can roll and then you can roll and cut, and then when you actually have to pick the cookie up and put it on the pan, then it becomes a problem. So this kneading really helps a lot. You don't need to knead a lot, but yeah, it really helps. So we can see how smooth the dough is. This is like really perfect. So I'm almost done. I'm just gonna finish up this flour that is here on the surface. As you can see now, the surface is dry, like it's absolutely dry. Like I've completely I've completely used all the flour that was on the surface. So now I'm gonna start cutting this dough. I'm just gonna split it into two, and then I'll put this in here, and then I'm gonna start cutting it. So I'm still gonna flour my surface just a bit so that it doesn't really like stick. Yeah, not a lot. So I'm gonna just roll it out. So I'm gonna use my rolling pin. So I'm also just flouring my rolling pin a bit so that it doesn't stick. And then it's entirely up to you how thick or how thin you want your cookies to be. I don't want my cookies to be too thin, so I think this is fine. Right, and then I'm gonna be using, let me put this a bit, my cutter. Guys, I need to buy new cutters. Like all my cutters are broken, like, yeah, they are broken, so I need new ones. So also don't use like a big cutter, you know, a cutter for making scones and stuff like that. Don't use such a huge cutter. I mean, it's just nice tasty biscuits, so use a smaller nyana. Oh, this one came out already. Anyway, can you see how perfect it is? It's really proper. I like it. Okay, I haven't really dealt with my pan, so I've got some butter over here, so I'm just gonna go in. If you want, you can also like just dust some flour on the pan, but I don't usually do that. I just leave it as it is, like this. So yeah, let me continue cutting. So this is about it. Also, another thing, you need to preheat your oven while you are busy rolling. While you're busy rolling your dough, I mean not rolling, sorry, while you're busy mixing your dough, preheat your oven on 180 degrees. And yeah, so that by the time you are done with cutting, then you know that the oven is warm. You don't have to wait for it to be warm. So yeah, just remember to preheat it. Okay, besties, so I'm done putting my cookies in the pan. This is how they look like. But then I don't want to just have like plain simple cookies like this, so I'm gonna be using this spoon. It's like a quarter of a teaspoon, and then I've also got here some strawberry jam. So what I'm gonna be doing is this. So in the middle or in the center of the cookie, I just do this. I make sort of like a hole with the spoon. Okay, so in the holes, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be squeezing in some, this strawberry jam into the hole. Alright, so they look very cute when they are like this. And I mean, you can obviously do whatever that you want to do. If you want to poke them with a fork or anything that you want to do, then you can. So I like them like this. So now they're gonna go into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. Remember, the oven has already preheated. And now these biscuits, they don't have milk, they don't have eggs, you know, they cook, or they bake very quickly. So you don't want to have them in the oven for a long time, they're gonna burn. So yeah, I'm just gonna have them for about 12 to 15 minutes, and then I'm just gonna be checking them, and then yeah, we should be done with them afterwards. So I'm just taking them into the oven now. guys, it's on 180 over here, and then with the baking option you select this one that has two lines, a line at the top and a line at the bottom, so that it can bake both at the top and at the bottom. So now we're just gonna be waiting. After 12 to 15 minutes I'll update you guys how they look like. Okay besties, so this is how they look like currently. So yeah, they're coming along very well. I really like how they are. It's about 10 minutes now. So in about 2 to 3 minutes I'm gonna be taking them out. Like yummy. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna be taking the biscuits out. It's exactly 15 minutes after I actually put them into the oven, so they're like done baking. So now I'm just gonna be taking them out and let's see how they look like. So remember I told you that they must not be like brown or anything like that. Even though they look like this, they are fully baked. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but underneath here, can you see it's starting to be brown, showing that now if I left it a bit longer it was gonna like burn. So I'm gonna let them cool off, and then yeah, but they are ready when they are like this. Alright besties, so this is my second pan. I've just cut them and I've put them in here. So I want to do something different with this pan. So I'm not going to be using the jam anymore. I'm just going to be using a fork. So I'm just going to make some holes like so. Alright, so these, okay, this is how they look like. So they are going straight into the oven, and then we're gonna bake them for 15 minutes, and then after that I'll be done baking. So basically this 2 cups of flour made 2 cups. So you know that if you're gonna make like 4 cups of flour, you know, then it might be making like 4 pans. So I'm just gonna put it into the oven now, and then I'm gonna let it bake for 15 minutes. And as you can see over here, I'm still letting these cookies cool off, because like when you take them out of the oven they kind of like a bit softish, but you shouldn't worry about that. They have fully baked, even though they'll be a bit softish, and then just let them cool off, and then they're gonna harden the more that you leave them, but they have fully baked. So yeah, like now can you see how it looks like underneath? You don't want it to burn, guys. And you know how itzamos look like, they normally like this, so you don't want them to be brown or anything. So this is absolutely perfect, and it has now hardened. It's hard, it's no longer soft. So yeah guys, this is how it looks. And then okay besties, so we are finally done. This is the second pan. So this is how it looks like. Come see. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. This one almost kind of burnt. I think it's because it was a bit thin. It was still very thin. So now remember I said we need to let them cool down. So I'm gonna be letting them cool down a bit, because these are already fine, they are perfect, but these ones I'm gonna let them cool down so that they can also harden. But yeah, this is about it guys. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I really enjoyed recording this video for you guys. And if you do try it out, please do let me know how it turned out. Also let me know whether you used the powdered sugar, or also known as the icing sugar, or if you use the normal granulated sugar, which it should also work, just that it won't be smoother. And yeah, let me know, share pictures with me on my Instagram, on my Facebook, And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I love you guys so much. See you on my next video. Bye.